All right, welcome back to the If You Roll It, They Will Come podcast. With me, your host, Spartan Kratos, and I'm joined on the pod today with my good friend, Sean here, and we're here to talk about today about like one of the kind of worst memories we have of last year together, hanging out in the 11 to 6. This happened all the way back in January of 2021, and this was on a day where we were celebrating Kenny's birthday. And Kenny said, for some reason when we came back, we had like made plans, because me and Kenny's birthdays are really close together. So we had made plans where on my birthday we were going to be like more partying, and then Kenny's birthday was going to be more laid back. So on Kenny's birthday, what he decided to do was he wanted to go to the zoo in January. And the zoo in a desert, by the way. Like, we live in a desert, and he wanted to go to a zoo in a desert. So that's what we decided to do, because we're all good friends and we're all going to go with him. And on this day, there was a lot of us. I want to say there was maybe 12 of us that left the dorms together to go onto the light rail and took it there and took it to the zoo. So we left around 10. We left around 10, and then we started walking. And on this walk is where we started to see things were not going to be a normal day, because who was it? Was it Hank and you? Did you decide to run with him? Yes. So Hank.
Yeah. I was feeling very cardio that day, and I was pretty hyped up. I was wearing khakis, but I decided, he was talking big game about his running, and I'm very cocky about my endurance, and he beat me. And then he started throwing up. It was really funny.
Yeah. So Hank and Sean just
I have a great picture of it.
They just take away and tear away and just sprint ahead of all of us. And then like we're all just still walking. We're like whatever. And then like we catch up to them, and Hank just bent over. And like he was a soccer player, so he was kind of talking himself up. He was bent over.
And a basketball player.
Yeah, he was bent
Should
over.
Be a cardio king.
Exactly. And he's like one of the short kids too. Short kids have to have good cardio because they have nothing else going for them as a fellow short kid. So like he was bent over, hands on his knees, like head over heels, like not head over heels, head between his legs, just like trying to get his breath. And then like he goes into the bushes off the side of the sidewalk and just starts puking. And then it gets even better because one of the other guys has to take a piss. So he just walks a little bit further past Hank and just takes a piss in the bushes. So we have this great photo of Sean standing there, thumbs up, all smiling, with Hank puking behind him, and then you can see the other guy just kind of like waving as he's taking his whiz down in the fucking the hill.
Might I add, I was wearing a really nice sweater that day.
You were.
I was very excited to wear that sweater. I was dressed to the nines. I looked great.
And I remember Hank was wearing his Peyton Manning jersey.
Massive.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, I forgot how big that thing was on him. Okay.
It's a really cool jersey. It is.
Yeah,
it's
a great jersey.
It's vintage.
But Hank's like 5'6", and this jersey is like a large.
It looked like a hand-me-down, but it's like still a really cool jersey.
Yeah.
I kind of respected it.
Yeah, it's really cool. But
I wouldn't wear it to a zoo, but
no, the thing was huge. I wouldn't really wear that thing in public, but like unless I was really with friends watching the game.
Or I was at a Colts game.
Yeah, because that thing was massive on him, and it just like was dragging all day. But so we ended up getting through that, and then we get to the zoo. But let me backtrack a little bit. Before we left to the zoo, me, Jim, one of my friends, and Butters, we all decided we were gonna get high. So what we did was
unlike you.
Oh, it's very unlike
very
me.
much unlike
very
you.
unlike
Yeah.
me to go out and get high. Very unusual.
Yeah.
So what me and Jim decided to do is I have some of this candy bar that I had for my birthday that was like an edible candy bar. And so we each take a good chunk of that. We take a good chunk of that. And then we also have carts that we're ripping before we leave. And then
I like the bright early time of like 10.
Yeah, early at 10 in the morning, and I'm pretty sure we probably hadn't eaten anything. So it was gonna make everything feel extra special. You don't eat, it hits you extra hard. And then Butters, he doesn't want to take any edible because he's had bad trips with it, so he's just been ripping the cart all day, all before this. So he gets super, super high off that. And then me and Jim, when we get there, it starts hitting us. Like right when we get to the zoo is around when our come up starts. So we're set to have a pretty good time. So what ends up happening was Kenny was there only for a chick, basically, right? Right, he had his birthday, and he wanted to basically ask the chick out on his birthday to the zoo, but he couldn't do that, so instead he just made it a group thing. So like all 12 of us, like all of her friends went and all of his friends went, and there's a shit ton of people. So
There were a lot of people, weren't there?
yeah, there were. It was like 12 people. We get to the zoo. We kind of split up into 2 groups. I know my group is me, Jim, and Butters. I'm pretty sure that's it.
No, there was another person.
No, there wasn't.
No, there wasn't. It was just us 3.
Well,
I was keeping track of who was in which group so I can find people when I needed to escape a certain group.
And he could never find us.
Yeah, and I couldn't find you guys.
Because we went like, so what
You
ended
guys
up
ran
happening was, how the zoo kind of worked was, it was a big kind of circle. It was a big kind of circle with an inner circle, right? We went one way and you guys went the complete other direction. Because you guys wanted to go, like, Kenny and them wanted to see one thing, and then we all wanted to like go see the monkeys or something. So we just kind of shot off towards the monkeys, and then like,
Jim really does like a good monkey.
yeah.
well,
yeah.
what happened? How did we pick up?
How did we pick up who? We didn't pick him up until the end.
I thought that
No,
was.
it wasn't till the end. You
Look
guys
it,
disappeared
look it.
together.
This is the video I have of us, and it's just us 3. And this is at 12:15. There's no one else near us.
True.
Yeah, so Jim's being a little dummy. But so what happened was me, Jim, and Butters went off, and we kind of went towards the monkeys in that area. So we went in one direction, and then the whole other group of like 9 people. Well, wait, did the girls go with you guys or no?
Yes, but they left early.
Yeah. Okay. So they went on that direction.
Visionaries.
And now Sean's gonna go ahead and tell his part of the story because his part of the story was a pretty fun afternoon.
Incredibly. So, I'd just like to preface this by first saying, I love Kenny. Kenny is one of my favorite people, and I love celebrating his birthday with him.
Hold, I want to interject here. Kenny didn't find out until about a week and a half ago when I was talking about this idea that we did not have as much fun as he thought on his birthday. He did not know we were all miserable on that day until like a week and a half ago. So I would like to say we did a great job hiding that from him. Because the fact is, we were not hiding it that day. He was just kind of oblivious.
He wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, because here's the thing. We live in Phoenix, Arizona, in the desert. When it's in winter, it still can get pretty cold and windy.
And it was breezy. It was like it was like a crisp 65. It was cloudy, and it drizzled on and off.
Yeah, it was drizzling that whole day. So like some of the animals weren't even out, which was really, really annoying.
And it's a zoo. You can't expect them to be out anyway. You know?
Yeah, exactly. But like still, like when we're going on the day when it's raining, it's like,
Yeah.
what are we doing here?
Yeah.
But go ahead with your part of the story.
So, I preface that because it's important, because I love them. But, I don't like zoos. I never did. I never have. It's a whole day commitment. You're on your feet the whole time. You got like at some point after 25 minutes, it starts becoming. There it is. Look at that.
It's a lot like a museum.
It's a lot like a museum.
Like a museum.
Except that the things are alive. But there it is. See it sleeping over there. Then you move on. There it is. Whoa! Look at it sleep.
Oh, look at that one. Oh, it pooped.
Wow.
It pooped.
There it is.
And then shit smell.
There it is. Oh yeah, it smells. And look. Some animals were cool there. I did get to see a bunch of flamingos. I do like a good bit of flamingos. I really do. I really do.
They were cool ones.
I didn't really learn anything, unfortunately.
It wasn't
But it
really
was
an
fun.
educational zoo.
No, it wasn't really an educational zoo.
It just
I mean, I
really-
guess if you really wanted to learn, you could, but it wasn't.
But I think you'd only have to ask people. Like,
Yeah, you had to seek it out. But
yeah.
it,
At that point, it's just not worth it.
Sure. If I'm not learning anything, the only thing I got out of it was a hip problem, and that was probably my biggest complaint. It wasn't anything with anybody.
Oh, it wasn't anything with anybody.
My biggest
Yeah.
one was my hip. I didn't have problems with others, but yeah. So at like an hour in, my hip starts killing me because I can't do things sometimes, and the weather is acting up, and I don't know, my hip just started acting up, and it refused to stop. Oh, and and we took Phoenix Light Rail, which is public transportation that goes throughout the metro area, and the station that drops us off to the zoo is like a mile.
Yeah,
And-
it was a decent walk.
And
like,
and sometimes you hear your parents say, "Oh, I walked to school uphill both ways when I was your age," and you think that's impossible. I've never walked uphill both ways. I can say the walk from that zoo To and from that zoo from the light rail station was uphill both ways.
And I will say, Kenny did downsize that walk. Because
Like,
that's the area where they do frisbee golf, and they're like, oh, it's not that bad of a walk.
Yeah.
It's not that bad of a walk.
Yeah.
And it was like,
It was it was a bit. It was along like a pretty major road too, so it was a bit weird.
yeah.
But
it was
anyway.
awkward.
Anyway, so we're walking around to the animals, and I am just like losing energy quickly. I'm leaking it. I am like every single animal's draining more and more out of me. But I'm in like a group of like 7 people, mix of boys and girls, and eventually the girls after like an hour and a half.
At like 12.
I,
It was like at 12.
At like 12 they left, and then all right, whatever, see ya. You guys are gonna miss out, and then they did not, and
They
we
got
so we keep walking around. I am with I end up with a few people. Forget all of them, but Hank wanted to get lunch, and this spot in the zoo has a lake in the middle of it, and they have like awnings and like social seating areas because I think it's also part of a state park. So the whole thing is just like social setting. So we found like a big spot to just chill in, and we're all sitting around. We're standing around. We're looking at like swans in the lake, and once again saying, "There it is. There's one."
Oh, yeah. I remember the suicide ducks were there. The ducks were just diving.
Yeah,
They were trying to drown themselves.
Yeah, lucky them. And yeah, those ducks are really encapsulating the feeling. And at some point, it's like 20 minutes. We're waiting for Hank. He hasn't gotten his food yet, and we are bored. We're tired. We're getting cranky. And then there's this lady in this little awning area that we're chilling in, who's reading a book. And this is in the winter spike of the pandemic of 20, like in between like the months of like November and like March, it like spiked really bad, especially here in Arizona. And one of Hank's friends isn't wearing a mask, and he's one of those guys that's like not going to unless you make him. So this lady who's reading next to us just asked him, "Hey man, can you put on a mask?" He throws this little fit about it. He's like, "I got the antibody." It's like, dude, it's not that big of a deal.
It's not.
It's not. Stop embarrassing us. You're just making everything look bad. So then I'm like, so now everything went from boring to awkward. Now I'm a little angry. My hip is killing me. And now I can't sit anywhere because the seats are wet because it just rained. And I'm just chilling, and Hank still is in line to get zoo food. And obviously that's going to set him back $30. And we wait another 15 minutes. I forget every conversation I had. I forget every person that I talked to. And Hank, we see Hank get his food in the distance. We see him. We see him look for us, and we see him sit down at some random spot by himself. And now we have to go get him. And oh my God, we had to like bring him back, and then we had to figure out where we're going next. We met up with you two.
That's finally when we met up. Right after all
We
this
met up
is
with
when
you
we met
two.
up.
You two were out of your minds.
Yeah.
You three were out of your minds.
Yeah, we were getting at like 2:00. Like this was around like 2:33 ish.
Yeah.
And this is when like me, Jim, and like Butters were kind of out of it. Like I don't really remember what happens after we see the monkeys. I don't really remember what we did. I do remember meeting up with you guys.
I remember meeting up with you guys, and I saw you, and I tried to like communicate with you like I'm not having a good time.
Yeah.
And
this is when we try to communicate to Kenny that we wanted to leave.
Yes, this is when we're like starting like, hey man, we should probably
Because us three were also done. Me, Jim, and Butters were done. Because we had kind of seen all we wanted to see. Because I think we made it all the way.
You can only see so much of the zoo.
Yeah, we had basically seen the whole zoo. We saw what we wanted to see, so we were like, "Hey, can we go?" Because the girls left at like 12, and Kenny had no problem with it. So we asked him, and he's like, "No, we're staying."
And I can't just Irish goodbye. It's his birthday. You know?
Yeah, like we can't just be like, "Oh, we're leaving," and then actually leave because like it's his birthday, and we're all there for him.
Yeah.
So when we kind of be like,
I would want to hang out with him on his birthday.
Exactly. So we're like, "Oh, we want to leave," and he's like, "No, we're staying." So we ended up staying for another 2 hours until like 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And this whole last 2 hours were just not fun because we decided to stay with them and we just became one big group again.
Yeah.
And it was...
Yeah. And the last thing we did, we were all so tired. We're gassed. There's like a good, I'm going to say 7, 8 of us left.
Yeah, there's still like 8 of us.
And they want to go see the Stingrays.
Oh my god, they do. And it's on like the other side of where we are.
No. You know what's worse? It was insultingly close to the exit.
Oh, it was?
It was right next to it.
Yeah, it was right.
It was right next to the entrance and the exit.
Oh, wait, no. Yeah,
It
I remember
was
what you're
right
talking
there,
about.
and we're so ready to go. We see the exit, and they're like, "We're going to go see the Stingrays." So, and it's like paid extra, and a lot of us are like, "We don't want to go to see the Stingrays," and we were hoping that the majority would vote it out, but Kenny and two of his friends went to go see the Stingrays for an unimaginably long 10 minutes, and like 6 or 7 of us were just like waiting outside, all of us on our phones, nobody's saying a word.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's saying a word.
That's when I took my pictures with you guys.
Dude, to counteract this, Kenny was like, dude, I touched a stingray. That was the highlight of his trip. That was the highlight of his trip.
I remember when he said that, and by the way, my hip is killing me. My hip is... At some point, my hip was governing how I thought.
Yeah.
So I was just ready to lash out. And I remember I was with somebody. I forget who it was, but we were both in very much agreement that we're not letting them take a gander in the gift shop.
Uh-huh.
Not a chance in hell.
Oh,
So we just ran through the gift shop. We didn't even look. We just, because the exit to the gift shop, obviously,
Yeah,
money,
because-
branding, and we just booked it through. We didn't look. We kept our heads down, blinders on. And we got through. And thank God, because he almost went back in and got something.
Yeah.
I think I said something. I think I said
he
something.
Looked at
I'm
something
like,
and he was like, ooh, I kind of want to get that. And we were like, oh my god, no.
and we were like, no.
Yeah. And we
Yeah.
just kind of walked off. Yeah,
And
that
then,
was...
and then we forget that we went to Cane's after. We didn't go straight back downtown.
Went to Cane's after?
Yeah.
Dude, I don't remember that at
We
all.
went to Cane's in Tempe after. We took the light rail again. We took it a few more stops. That's another 10-minute ride.
Oh
and then
my
it's
God.
like a 15-minute walk to Cane's, which was fine. But then we filled our bellies with Cane's, and then went on the light rail for another 35-minute ride back to the dorm. And then some of Kenny's friends had cupcakes and candles and stuff.
Oh my god, yeah,
Oh,
that
I
was
remember
so
that.
annoying. So we get back to my dorm. And and then like they take Kenny somewhere else. They take Kenny to like
Because it's supposed to be like a surprise.
yeah, they take Kenny to like the chick's room he's talking to, basically. I think that's where he went, right?
I don't think that's where I went. I think it went to...
He didn't go across the hall because I
No,
was
he
moving
did.
in.
I think he did.
No, because I was
Oh,
they were
maybe I was
moving
wrong.
stuff in and out. He went to someone else's room. I don't know where he went.
I remember I was with you, and I remember we got that text, and we both just like...
Yeah, no one was happy
we
about
were
this.
both ready to just like throw ourselves
No
out.
one was happy. So
It was so
what ended up happening was they all kind of come into my room, like not even 5 minutes after, like, because I have said this on the podcast before. My room has an open door policy, so they just kind of come in, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then they're like, oh, we're setting everything up for Kenny. We're like surprising Kenny, and we're gonna like have candle, like not candle, but they had like cupcakes and like balloons and streamers. It was a mess. Our room was a mess for the next month and a half. It was so frustrating.
Was it?
Yes, the streamers and shit were everywhere.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, that stuff was everywhere for like a month. It was really, really frustrating. But I digress. So they end up sending like, and then they spend like 30 minutes getting this ready. So it's now like maybe like 7:30, no, it's probably like 8 o'clock. I think it was around 8 o'clock. And then that's when they send out a text to everyone that was in the Zoo group chat. They said, come to Kenny and Lofton's room because we're gonna surprise Kenny. And so everyone comes in, and it is just like, it takes everyone forever because people don't want to come. No one's looking at the chat, and these people are getting annoyed that people aren't coming. Like the chicks were getting annoyed that people weren't gonna come, and everyone was like,
They were getting really
and
mad.
everyone was like, we just spent the entire day with him. Can we get 5 minutes alone?
It's not that we spent the entire day with him. I'm glad I spent that.
Zoo.
Yeah, it was at the zoo.
Mhm.
There's no reason to be at a zoo for six
So
hours,
strange.
unless you work there.
So basically, they are able to get all the guys to come because we were all able to, and barely any of the chicks to come, and they weren't even that mad at some of the girls because it was only like the ones that really stayed that came.
Yeah.
So they all come, and then we like do this for Kenny, and yeah, like
I felt like we left right after shit.
yeah, no, everyone
Oh, yeah.
dipped.
And
A
then-
lot of people dipped right after it.
Yeah, and then we
was-
just like we had it during the night, didn't we? It was like a Saturday
Probably.
too. Yeah.
yeah, it was a Saturday, and everyone just kind of turned in really early because everyone was kind of
Everybody was,
dumbass.
and my hip was killing me. I couldn't walk anymore.
Yeah. No, like I love Kenny. He's my roommate. He was my roommate last year. He's still my roommate now. One of my best friends.
Yeah, I love him so
Love
much.
the guy. It's just that was one of the worst ways I could ever imagine spending a birthday, and that was not a very pleasant day. I remember.
But I'm going to a concert with Kenny on Thursday, which I'm very much looking forward to.
See, that'll be fun.
Yes. So it's nothing against Kenny.
Yeah.
Nothing against Kenny. Going to the zoo it's a good social idea, but you cannot make it more than 2 hours.
Yeah. And me being stoned really saved the day for me. Because
Is this like the moral of the story?
the moral of the story is I don't really remember what happened. Like a lot of the day is kind of a blur to me, which is a good thing because all I do know is I was frustrated at some points, but like most of it just seems like it was a quick day. So
Yeah.
it was a lot more pleasant for me that I was high. That's what I'm trying to say, you know. So if you have to go do a chore that is very annoying and you don't want to be there, get stoned. Get stoned before it.
That's your advice for everything, man.
That is my advice for everything, and it's worked decently well for me up to this point.
Thus far.
Thus far. We'll see how it gets me after college, but so far,
Of course.
it's working pretty well.
Yeah.
All right, and that's it for this episode of the If You Roll It, They Will Come podcast. If you guys like that, like and subscribe to hear more. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.